Hey everyone, welcome back with another session of geography. So today we'll start a new chapter, that is agriculture. So when we talk about this agriculture, so first thing first, so what is this agriculture? Now, agriculture is basically the practice of growing crops for direct human consumption and for use in industries as raw material. So it's not only about the growing crops for human consumption, it's also for use in industries as raw materials. Alright. So that's why it said that agriculture and industries are interdependent to each other. Now, the term agriculture has been derived from the Latin words ager and cultura, which means soil and cultivation respectively. Alright. So, in this chapter, we will study the growth of agriculture, factors that influence agriculture in a place, and the types of farming that's practiced all over the world. Alright, so let's begin one by one. First we have, that is the growth of agriculture. Alright, now, first thing, that is all the people are involved in a number of economic activities, and which can be grouped into three types: primary, secondary and tertiary. Now, agriculture is a primary activity, we all know that. So agriculture, it is defined as the art and science of cultivating the soil and growing crops. Alright, now it also includes rearing of livestock. Livestock means the domestication of different animals such as cow, goat, sheep. So all these things, okay, so which are like reared for milk, meat, and wool. So all in this agriculture, it also includes rearing of livestock. Now if we move on to the secondary stuff, now activities where raw materials are processed and converted into new finished goods are known as secondary activities. Now for example, if we see jute fiber, so jute fiber is used for making jute bags. Cotton, if you see, cotton is used to make cotton clothes. Alright, so all these things comes under the secondary sector. Now tertiary activities are those activities which provide services to the primary and the secondary activities. Now if you see, for example, transport, communication, banking, insurance, so all these things comes under the tertiary activities. Alright, now if we see, over the years different improved methods and technologies have been implemented, and great progress has been made in all aspects of crop production. Okay, so changes for better have been introduced in plowing, sowing, irrigation, weeding and harvesting. Now if we see, presently about 50% of the world's population is directly or indirectly engaged in agriculture and agriculture related activities. And if we see it in India, 52% of the population practices agriculture for a living. Alright, so all these things. Now if we see next topic, that is the factors. Which are the factors that influences agriculture? Now as we see, the techniques of farming. So there are different kinds of techniques of farming. Types of crops cultivated. So there are different crops cultivated in different places. It's not that the same crop is cultivated in the same place. No, it's not that. Okay, and the quantities of crops produced. Like if you see in some areas, in the desert areas, the quantities are very less. Now if you see in the plain areas and in the tropical areas, there the quantities are more. So in hill areas, the quantity is less. So in different areas, the quantities of crops are also produced in different amount, and also it varies from region to region. Now it's not that the same crop is cultivated everywhere. No, it's not possible. Okay, so why such variation happens? Such variations is due to some factors. So which are the factors? First thing, that is the physical factors. Now the physical factors include all the environmental factors, and under this comes climate, relief and soil. So these are the physical factors. And if we see the socio-economic factors, like all the human factors that comes up, such as labor, capital, technology, and market. So all these are the factors that influences agriculture highly. Alright. Now, next we have that is the types of farming. Types. Alright. Now farming, we all know it's done in various ways across the world, isn't it? So on the basis of geographical conditions like relief features, climate and all this stuff, demands, labor and the level of technology, so farming can be categorized into two main types. Alright, so which are the two main types of farming? First, that is the subsistence farming. Second, we have that is the commercial farming. So today we will discuss about the subsistence farming. Alright, now what is this subsistence farming? Now subsistence, the meaning of the word subsistence, that means supporting oneself. Alright, the meaning of the word subsistence means supporting oneself. So I guess you can assume the fact what kind of farming it can be. So subsistence farming is practiced mostly in tropical lowlands. Here what happens, the farmers grow crops mainly for their family's consumption. Alright, and the farm sizes in these areas here are very small, and primitive methods of farming are used. Primitive methods, that means the old techniques, old things. Alright, primitive methods of farming are used. Now in this family members also help each other in the farms. Alright, now if we divide this, now subsistence farming can also be further classified into two types. One, that is the primitive subsistence farming. Another is that is the intensive subsistence farming. Alright, so first we have that is the primitive subsistence farming. Now if we see, primitive farming is basically the oldest form of agriculture. Alright, it's the oldest form of agriculture. Now early agriculture is the oldest form of agriculture and it's still prevalent in some parts of the world. Alright, now from the primitive collection, some people have taken a step up on the economic scale by learning the art of domesticating plants, and their economy has also evolved to primitive culture. Now this type of agriculture is self-sufficient. That means it's related to their own consumption. It's not for the mass production. Alright, and farmers only grow food for themselves and their families. So some small surpluses can be exchanged or sold for cash. Now if you see in the market also, some small farmers comes up with small amount of vegetables and crops to sell it in the market. So you can take them as for example of it. Alright. Now if we see this primitive subsistence farming, shifting agriculture and nomadic herding are the two forms of primitive subsistence farming. And these are practiced by many tribes of the world. Okay, so first we have that is the shifting agriculture. Alright. Now, shifting agriculture is basically practiced in dense forested areas where an area is cleared by cutting and burning the vegetation. Alright. Now, the ashes of the burnt forest convert into nutrients and they act as fertilizer for the crop. Understood? Now, the land is used till it is rendered nutrient deficient. Now, what happens? The farmers then clear another piece of land to cultivate. And the abundant plot which is there, so that abundant plot is left fallow for few years. Alright. Till it regains nutrients. Understood? Now this shifting agriculture, it's basically practiced in less populated areas such as the forested areas of the Amazon basin, tropical Africa, parts of the Southeast Asia and the parts of Northeast India. Understood? So these are in these areas, this shifting agriculture is still done. Now which are the main crops grown here? The main crops grown are yam, cassava, maize and potatoes. Alright, now this shifting agriculture, it is also known as slash and burn agriculture. Alright, It's also known as slash and burn agriculture. So this is very important. Now, when we talk about this shifting agriculture, although this is one of the primitive technique, but still it has got its harmful effects also. Now, this shifting agriculture is harmful as it leads to deforestation, alright, and also soil erosion. So now what happened is many countries are encouraging people to give up this form of agriculture, and many have banned this activity, including our India also. Okay, so they have banned this. So they are updating themselves with new developed techniques which can benefit the farmers, alright, for a long scale and all. So that's why. Okay, now this slash and burn agriculture, it's also known by different names in different parts of the world. Now, if we see in the northeast India, it is called jhum cultivation. Alright, lading in Malay Peninsula, milpa in Central America, and konak we have in Venezuela. So it's got different names in different places. Alright, now next move on to the next one, that is the nomadic herding. Now we all know this, nomadic herding is practiced in arid and semi-arid regions. So basically where crops cannot grow properly. Alright, now if you see the seasonal, what is this nomadic herding? So the seasonal movements of nomads. Nomad means the people who move from one place to another in search of food and other stuff. So these nomads, the seasonal movement of nomads with their livestock, and that is that they move uphill during the summertime and downhill during the winter time. So all this movement is known as transhumance. So specifically if I tell it that transhuman means movement of cattle and herders from one place to another in a seasonal cycle. Seasonal cycle, that means in the summertime in some particular places and in winter time in the downward directions. Alright, now this nomadic herding is practiced in semi-arid regions of Sahara in Africa, West and Central Asia, and northern part of Eurasia. Alright, now this nomadic herding is prevalent in the regions of Rajasthan and Jammu and Kashmir, and the animals are reared for milk, meat and hide. Alright, these are the things. Now, the last one, that is the intensive subsistence farming, is one of the most important one. Now, the term intensive subsistence farming is used for the type of agriculture where the farmer tries to get maximum possible output from a small piece of land. छोटा सा land से ज़्यादा कमाई, जिसे बोलते हैं हम लोग. Now, it is prevalent in the thickly populated areas of the monsoon regions of South and Southeast Asia. It includes China, Japan and India also. Now, in this form of agriculture involves the use of a small piece of land, a large quantity of human labor and simple tools. So, no such modern machineries are used here. So, farm machineries are rarely used, and due to the long growing season and fertile soil, what happens, the farmer is able to grow 2 to 3 crops annually on the same piece of land. Alright, with the help of HYV seeds, we call them as high yield variety seeds. Alright, high yield variety seeds. So with the help of these high yield variety seeds, organic manures and fertilizers, they can grow 2 to 3 crops annually on the same piece of land every year. So we also know it by the term crop rotation. Alright, so this crop rotation technique is done here. Now, rice, which is the main crop? Rice is the main crop, and along with rice, other crops includes wheat, maize, pulses and oilseeds. Okay, so these are all the important informations about the intensive subsistence farming. So that's it for now. I hope you have liked it and this session helped you a lot. Until the next time, bye bye.